Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our lesson on Roman Keycard Blackwood. Now, if some of you are wondering why Roman Keycard Blackwood seems to be such an important system, it's because it's actually the key or the cornerstone to being able to bid slams in a trump suit with greater assurity, knowing more about the important cards that you need to hold. Now, I'm assuming a lot of you already do play Blackwood, so let's just go from that position when it comes to answering a number of aces. And what Roman Keycard Blackwood, or pardon me, what Blackwood was originally designed for by Easley Blackwood was that it wasn't a convention used to bid slams, bid good slams. He said, Blackwood I invented as a convention to stop from getting to bad slams. And what was a bad slam in his opinion? A slam that was missing two aces. And that made a lot of sense, especially if those two aces were cashable immediately. And what happened then is over the years, Blackwood developed, not Blackwood the person, but Blackwood the convention, developed into looking at a more important aspect of when checking on important cards such as aces was valuable. And it was discovered by a number of experts, and I think it was Eddie Cantor who made this a popular system. What Eddie Cantor said was, well, in a trump contract, not only are the four aces important, but so is also the king of trumps. In fact, he said the king of trumps is just as important as any ace. So instead of now playing Blackwood or using Blackwood as a convention to ask about four aces, Roman Keycard Blackwood was invented to ask about five aces. So from this point onwards in this lesson, I want you to think of the king of the agreed trump suit as being just as important as any ace. And in fact, there's no differentiation between showing the king of a trump suit versus showing any of the four aces. So that's how we're going to look at the lesson from this point onwards. Now, let me give you an example. I've put a hand up here and I made the screen larger, the writing screen larger, so that you could all absorb this hand for a while. And if you looked at the two, this is a partnerships cards. One hand has ace jack to five trumps, opposite king queen another. Ace king queen to three hearts, singleton diamond, and king to four clubs. Now, if we were to play this contract in six spades, it would have a good chance. A good chance because it looks like we've got five trump tricks. It looks like we've got, in fact, in the heart suit, we've got the jack to four on one side, ace king queen on the other. So in total, between the two hands, we've got four heart tricks. We've got the ace of diamonds, and we've also got two clubs. So slam looks almost certain on this hand. As long as we make sure we don't mess up our entries, we should make slam comfortably. Now, let's have a look at the value of Roman Keycard Blackwood. Because with ordinary Blackwood, let's say we got into a strong option here and North asked for aces, South showed two aces. So Declarer knew about the holding all four aces, but they didn't know enough about the cards in the other suits, pardon me, the cards in the trump suit. And Roman Keycard Blackwood was designed to uncover exactly that. Let's give you an example of why it's so important. I'm going to change two cards on the south hand. I'm going to change the 8 and the 3 of diamonds and the king and the queen of spades. I'm going to make that into the 8 and the 3 of spades. And I'm going to make this into the king of diamonds and the queen of clubs. So we've got exactly the same trump fit. That is, we've got a 5-3 trump fit. And we've also got exactly the same number of high card points between the two hands. Now, imagine being in a contract of 6 spades with that trump suit. And this would be an appalling contract. In fact, it's almost certainly going to go down. There's a smidgen of a chance that you might make the contract if one player sitting underneath the ace jack of spades holds the king queen of spades and no more than 3 of them. But on this hand, you fully expect to go down in 6 spades. This is the beautiful part about playing Roman Keycard Blackwood. And that would be, if we got into a strong auction on these 2 hands, North, when they asked South for their number of key cards, and remember everyone, a key card is the 4 aces and the king of trumps. We'll deal with the queen of trumps later on, but the 5 key cards are the 4 aces and the queen of trumps. Well, North would have asked South about their holding of the 5 aces, and South would have said they've got 2. Instantly, North would know that one of those 5 key cards is missing. And then they could also find out about the queen of trumps as well. So all in all, Roman Keycard Blackwood is just an extension of Blackwood, except that it also focuses on the king of trumps and, at some stage in an auction, the queen of trumps. I'm hoping the example that I've just given you there between the 2 hands, and I'll take you back to the original hand in a second, shows you the importance in a slam of having good trumps. The 2 cards I changed were a king and a queen. I'll change those again. I'll move them from the king of diamonds and the queen of clubs, and I'll make them back into the king, queen of trumps. And you can see here that the 2 hands combined now represent a very good slam. And this is what we're going to look at today. The value of learning a system such as Roman Keycard Blackwood and how it can make your slam betting that much more accurate. Okay, so we're going to change this. We're going to move the screen across. We're going to increase our lesson notes. Let me just, pardon me, increase our lesson notes, and let me just, and move our notes to a smaller section here on the side. Okay. How does Roman Keycard Blackwood work in a sense of asking partner about these key cards? Well, when we first all learned Blackwood, the responses were quite simple. 4 no trump, how many aces do you have? And the first step for 0 was 5 clubs. The second step became 5 diamonds, and that said I'd got 1 ace. 5 hearts said I had 2 aces, and 5 spades said I had 3 aces. Now, with Roman Keycard Blackwood, the problem that we face is that we're no longer discussing 4 aces now, we're discussing 5 aces. And that means that we don't quite have sufficient space to be able to show a particular holding with each simple step. So what we do with Roman Keycard Blackwood is that we double up the responses. I'll just point it out here with the light here and spotlight on what I'm talking about. So 5 clubs here, instead of from now on, instead of being I have 0 key cards, and remember the key cards are the 4 aces and the queen of, and the king of trumps, it says I have either 0 or 3. And partner, it's probably going to be pretty easy for you to look at your own hand and work out from the strength of the auction which one I have. And then 5 diamonds is 1 or 4. Now that means that 0, 1, 3, and 4 have already been taken up in 2 bids. And that allows us to play around with the response when they hold 2 key cards. So we reserve 5 hearts and 5 spades as responses to partner saying, I have 2 of these 5 key cards. But also added to that partner, I'm either denying with a 5 heart bid, the queen of trumps, the agreed trump suit that is, and with 5 spades, I'm actually showing that I hold the queen of trumps to go with my 2 key cards. Now, 5 no trump would be a response saying, partner, I've got all 5 key cards here, so we should be on a pretty good wicket. Now, if partner does respond either 5 hearts or 5 spades, instantly the player who uses Roman Keycard Blackwood knows about all of the position of the 5 key cards, and also the Queen of Trumps. Now, why is the Queen of Trumps important? Let's have a look at a little table here that I like to show you how many key cards or how high you can bid based on the number of key cards your partnership holds, and also don't forget the Queen of Trumps as well. So if we're ever able to bid to the 7 level, we would need to hold 5 key cards plus the Queen of Trumps. So you shouldn't ever try to bid 7 of a suit if you don't hold all 5 of the key cards plus the Queen of Trumps. Now, there's some fancy options that we have where one player might hold a void, etc. And in fact, that actually leads me to a very important question. I'm just going to try to open up the chat box here, everyone. That chat box. There we are. I'll find it a little bit later. Where if we have all 5 key cards and the Queen of Trumps, you are able to bid a slam. Let's change that to when can you bid at the 6th level? Yeah? You can bid at the 6th level either with all 5 key cards, but no Queen of Trumps, or you can bid to the 6th level with 4 key cards, but you must also hold the Queen of Trumps. If you hold only 4 key cards, but no Queen of Trumps, then the 5 level is the maximum level that you should bid to. So I'll go over that again. You can bid to the 7 level if your partnership holds all 5 key cards plus the Queen of Trumps. You can bid to the 6th level if you hold all 5 key cards, but don't hold the Queen of Trumps. You can also bid to the 6th level if you hold 4 key cards, that means you're missing 1, but you also hold the Queen of Trumps. And you should avoid slam altogether if you hold only 4 key cards, but no Queen of Trumps. Let's drop that out. And let's move on with the detail in using Roman Keycard Blackwood after your partnership has discovered the number of key cards, but hasn't yet discovered whether we hold the Queen of Trumps or not. Let's look at this example here at the top. I'll leave the responses just there. So in response to partner's opening bid of 1 spade, we're going to make an old-fashioned response of 3 spades invitation. If you were playing Berg and Razors, your response on this particular hand would be 3 hearts. So in this instance, we've responded 3 spades, inviting partner to game. Partner decides then to use Roman Keycard Blackwood. And in response to that, how many key cards do you have? Well, the King of Spades here is a key card because it's just as important as an ace. The other key card you have here is the Ace of Diamonds. So you hold 2 key cards. Well, let's look here at what should be your response when you hold 2 key cards. Well, it could be either 5 hearts or 5 spades. So which one would you choose? 5 hearts denies the Queen of Trumps. 5 spades shows it. Do you have the Queen of Trumps? The answer is no. Therefore, your response on this particular hand is 5 hearts, showing 2 key cards. That is the Diamond Ace, the Spade Queen, but no up Spade King, but no Spade Queen. Okay, so as we mentioned before, when you do hold 2 key cards, you can show or deny the Queen of Trumps immediately. But what if your response wasn't 2 key cards? What if your response was either 5 clubs showing 0 or 3 key cards, or 5 diamonds showing 1 or 4 key cards? Well, if your response was as such, partner may still need to know about the location of the Queen of Trumps. So if your response is 5 clubs, the next step by the 4-note trump bidder should ask about the queen of trumps. Now, that's provided the next step by the 4-note trump bidder is not the trump suit itself. So let's go down and have a look at that. Over 5 clubs or 5 diamonds, you may wish to ask about the trump queen in order to evaluate how good the slam is, as long as the next step is not the trump suit. So let's say, for example, we have set on this hand here, we have set spades as our trumps. 4-note trump says, how many of the 5 key cards do you hold, partner? Partner says 0 or 3. Now, because that's 3 apart, it's going to be pretty easy for partner to tell whether it's 0 or it's 3. The next step that partner bids above that asks about the location of the trump queen. Now, remember, if the next step is the trump suit itself, of course that doesn't ask about the trump queen. So on this example here, if diamonds were trumps, yes, 5 diamonds would simply be a sign-off. So in this instance, we've said spades are trumps, 4-note trump asked, 0 or 3 key cards, 5 diamonds, do you have the trump queen? And the steps for no and yes are pretty simple. First step, in nearly all conventions, the first step says no. The second step typically says yes. Some players like to jump to slam when they have the queen of trumps. I'm not a believer in that. I simply think that if you either deny or show the queen of trumps, partner may want to ask something else about the hand. So again, here's another example, 4-note trump, 5 diamonds, I've got 1 or 4 of these key cards. Presuming hearts aren't trumps, so as we said, if spades were trumps, 5 hearts would say, partner, do you have the trump queen? 5 spades, no. 5 no trump? Yes. Okay, let's look at one of these hands in action. And this is both players here. So an option, and this is going to show the true value of Roman Keycard Blackwood. This hand opens 1 spade. In fact, let's have a look at it as far as losers go. You've got 1 in spades, 1 in hearts, 1 in diamonds, 1 in clubs. A 4-loser hand only. You open 1 spade, partner bids 3 spades, invitational. So if you cast your mind back to the losing trick count lesson, a invitational raise typically shows around 10 to 12 points. And if you're looking at the equivalent in losers, that's around about 8 losers. So a 1 spade, 2 spade bid would show 9 losers. 1 spade, 3 spade bid would promise 8 losers. So let's do an equation based on losers. This hand has 4 losers. Partners promised 8. Add that together, and that's 12 losers. And if we magically take it away from 24, that should teach us the potential or suggest the potential of the number of tricks that are likely on this hand. So 4 plus 8 is 12, 24 minus 12 is 12 tricks. So that means with the losing trick count, there's a potential to make slam. But this is where the beauty of Roman Keycard comes in now, Roman Keycard Blackwood. We use Roman Keycard Blackwood, and partner tells us how many of those key cards that they have. Well, out of the aces and the king of the agreed trump suit, which is spades, the responder here holds how many? They hold 1, that is the ace of diamonds. So that's what they do. They bid 5 diamonds, which is 1 or 4 key cards. Partner now says, well, that's nice, but we're missing a key card. And from the table that I gave you before, you shouldn't bid slam with 4 key cards unless your partnership also holds the queen of trumps. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to bid 5 hearts, and we're going to ask about the queen of trumps. And partner on this particular hand says 5 spades. Sorry, I don't have it. So we now know that our partnership holds just 4 key cards, but we're missing the queen of trumps, which means that slam is not a good bet. So the opener now passes, and we're not too high. If you look at the 2 hands combined, what are the chances that you won't lose the ace of clubs and the spade trick? I think the chances are very high that you'll lose both of those cards because the queen of spades is almost certainly not going to drop in 2 rounds or even as a singleton. Even if it is a singleton, you're probably going to lose an extra trick there as well. So the queen of spades is not likely to drop, therefore we're almost certainly going to lose a spade and the ace of clubs. So we've landed in a good contract. Okay, now, how does Roman Keycard Blackwood work once we've found out about the key cards and the queen of trumps? 5 no trump over that says partner, partner, we hold all of the key cards and we also hold the queen of trumps. And 5 no trump would be just the same as any other type of 5 no trump bid using simple Blackwood. And that is, you could answer either how many key cards you hold, that is 5 clubs would be 0, 5 diamonds 1, 5 hearts 2. Some people like to be a bit more tricky and they like to play 5 no trump. Tell me, partner, do you have a king outside the trump suit? If you do, please bid it. Now, I'm okay for people to play either method. I'm comfortable even if you'd prefer simply just to play the number of kings. So in that respect, the 5 no trump bid for Roman Keycard Blackwood can be used exactly the same as you would use it in simple Blackwood. Now, I'm hoping that so far in this lesson, I've convinced you of the value of actually using Roman Keycard Blackwood, because it can make your slam bidding a lot more accurate, especially if you know about partners, the location of the king and the queen of trumps on top of the aces. That will mean that when dummy comes down, it's not going to be too big a surprise every time we hunt for slam. Okay. What I also would like to touch on, everyone, is Roman Keycard Blackwood when you've agreed a minor suit rather than a major suit. Now, it's pretty easy to understand that if we were to have you always use 4 no trump to ask for aces when we've got a minor suit agreed, then sometimes we may find that we have insufficient aces or key cards and we're too high to be able to sign off at the 5 level. So an example hand, 1 club, 3 clubs, invitational. If the opener was to bid 4 no trump and the responder's bid was 5 diamonds showing 1 or 4 key cards, then it's almost certainly going to be 1. And if you're sitting over here as the opener with just 2 key cards yourself, 2 key cards plus 1 key card equals too few key cards for slam. But the problem that we are facing here is that the trump suit is clubs, and the initial response of 5 diamonds has taken us above the trump suit. Now, this could be a problem with either clubs or diamonds as trumps, and it could be a problem even if you were to play the other method of 14-30, which is what some people like to play. So on this particular hand, my suggestion to you is that whenever you've agreed a minor suit as trumps, then don't use 4 no trump if you have sufficient space for you checking on aces. What you should use is you should use 4 of the agreed trump suit. So instead here, what would happen is that if we were to use 4 of the agreed trump suit, now some of you may recognize this and think, well, that's old-fashioned Gerber. And in fact, I can tell you that that was one of the reasons that Gerber was invented. Now, this is slightly different to Gerber because you use 4 of whatever the trump suit is that you have agreed with your partner, and that is the bid that becomes or replaces Roman Keycard Blackwood. And it means that you've conserved a lot of space. Now, the responses are exactly the same, and that is the first step over 4 clubs would show 0 or 3. The second step would show 1 or 4. The third step would show 2 without. Fourth step, 2 with. So if partner's response was 4 hearts here, that would be our second step. 4 diamonds would be 0 or 3. 4 hearts would be 1 or 4. Now, if it turned out that the equation was such that we held the opener had 2 key cards and the responder has shown 1, then now you can see, having only or missing 2 of the key cards, that the opener can simply sign off in 5 clubs. And that becomes the final contract. And you haven't gotten too high. Now, some people are going to say, but what if I want to invite game by bidding 4 of a minor? Now, this should be a rule for you when considering whether you should or shouldn't bid 4 of a minor. Let's try this. If you and your partner are having an auction between the two of you, that means it's not a competitive auction, then 4 of a minor should never be an invitation to game. Why? Because 3 of a minor can be an invitation to game. 4 of a minor should be reserved to use as Roman Keycard Blackwood in that minor. So if, for example, if the agreed suit was not clubs, but was actually diamonds, then what would happen here is that if the agreed suit was diamonds, 4 diamonds would be your Roman Keycard Blackwood. Now, some people refer to that as Minorwood, yes, and I think that's a reasonable way to refer to it, Minorwood as opposed to Blackwood, but simply put, you can just remember it as that is our ace ask when we've agreed a minor suit as trumps. And it makes a whole lot of sense, playing 4 of the agreed minor as your Roman Keycard Blackwood rather than 4 no trump, which simply takes up too much space. Everyone, I've got some hands that we've put together. And at the end of the lesson today, everyone, I'm going to open up the microphone so that people can ask questions about this lesson today. But let's have a look. Let's change our screen here. And let's go back into okay, let's move that away and let's go back into sharing our screen. So everyone, I'm having a bad technical day today. Okay, so here we are. There we go. I'm going to share with our laptop here, and I've got some hands set up for you. Okay. Now, here's the option, everyone. South is our dealer, and we're going to look at the south hand, and we're going to open 1 diamond. Partner responds 1 heart, and then we look at our hand in the sense of losing trick count. So how many losers does this hand hold? Well, you've got 2 in spades, you've got 1 in hearts, you've got 2 in diamonds because you're missing the king, queen of diamonds, and you've got 1 in clubs. So again, I'll go over that. 2 in spades because you've only got 2 cards, you're missing the ace, king. You're missing 1 in hearts, you're missing the king, queen of diamonds, that's a further 2, and 1 in clubs. So that's 6 losers, which means it's 1 trick better than a minimum opening hand. Therefore, it's worthy of more than a simple rebid of 2 hearts. It's worthy of a jump to 3 hearts, and that promises 6 losers. Well, let's look at the hand from partner's perspective. Let's count the losers in partner's hand. Well, in partner's hand, you have 2 in spades, 2 in hearts, 1 in diamonds, 1 in clubs. 3 hearts here promise 6 losers. You've got 6 losers. Add that together, that's 12 losers. So between the 2 hands, when you take it away from the magical 24, that means that this hand has the potential of 12 tricks or the 6th level, a slam. So North's going to launch into Roman Keycard Blackwood with hearts agreed as the trump suit. So now we're asking about the 4 aces and the king of hearts. Partner responds 5 clubs. Well, what does 5 clubs show? It shows 0 or 3 key cards. Well, you've got 1. Partner can hardly have 0 key cards because how can they be bidding so strongly with 0? So the presumption is the partner holds 3 key cards. You've got 1, partner's got 3, so that's 4 key cards. Now, what do we say about 4 key cards? You can be in slam missing a key card, but make sure you're not also missing the queen of trumps. Well, 5 diamonds says, partner, do you have the trump queen? If partner bid 5 hearts, that would say no, but they've stepped up and bid 5 spades, which says, partner, yes, I do have the queen of trumps. And now we sign off in 6 hearts because we're now comfortable that our partnership holds 4 key cards and the queen of trumps. So let's look at the play of this hand, everyone. Okay, the queen of clubs is led. How should we plan this play? Well, if we've got 5 trump tricks and we've got 1 spade trick once the ace is gone, that's 6. We've got the ace and the king of diamonds, that's 8. Yeah, and we've got the ace and the king of clubs, that's 10. Now, presuming trumps don't break 4 and 0, we're going to have, even with 3 rounds of trumps drawn, we're going to have 1 trump left in dummy. So we can get an extra spade ruff in dummy. That takes our tally to 11. What are the chances for the extra trick? I think good chances for the extra trick is to look at this diamond suit. King another, opposite ace jack to 5. This looks like potential to be able to set up the 5th diamond, provided we can trump a couple of diamonds in our hand. So let's say that's going to be our plan. We're going to draw trumps. If they're 2-2, it's simple. If they're 3-1, we're going to aim to set up our 5th diamond. What do we need to do, therefore? Retain the entry of the ace of clubs to the same hand that holds the long diamonds here, everyone. And that's an important part of declare a play, is to manage entries accurately. So in this instance, we're going to win the king of clubs in our hand, a trick 1. And we're going to instantly go after trumps. A low trump to the king. 2 trumps have gone, 2 to go. Another trump, west follows, but east shows out. So we can still see that if we can trump the diamonds high in our hand, the 5th diamond will become our 12th trick. So why not draw out the last trump? We do exactly that. And now, everyone, time to get on to the diamond suit. Don't do anything hasty like play to trump a spade too early in dummy, because we need this extra trump in dummy in order to be able to enjoy our 5th diamond. So let's hop into the diamond suit. Diamond to the king. Now, how many diamonds were out originally? 6. You've got 5 in dummy, 2 in your hand, 7, 6 out, which means that now once 2 have dropped, there's another 4 to go. So should we now play a diamond to our jack and take the finesse? Well, what are the better odds? That the suit will break 4-2 and we can set up the 5th diamond, or that we put all of our eggs into one basket and play for the diamond finesse? Well, diamond finesse is 50-50. In fact, some players always say that their finesses work less than 50%. But 50-50 shot, I think the diamond suit breaking 4-2 is closer to about 80%, everyone. So let's try that. Play a low diamond to the ace. Well, perfect. Both hands are followed. So there's only 2 diamonds out, and we're going to trump 2 little diamonds in our hand, dropping the queen. We play a diamond. Even if they don't follow, doesn't matter. The 10's dropped. I go back to dummy. I try to get to dummy with the queen of spades. They win with the ace. They now play a club, taking out dummy's ace of club entry. And now you see I've still got this trump. I've got 2 diamonds. If I trump 1 more diamond in my hand, jack of diamonds becomes a winner. I now play the king of spades. Trump the last spade in dummy, and the jack of diamonds becomes our 12th trick. Everyone, a good hand for declare a play, a good hand for Roman Keycard Blackwood as well, because if we used Roman Keycard Blackwood on this, didn't use Roman Keycard Blackwood on this hand, if we use simple Blackwood, there's every chance we would have been guessing about the location of the king and queen of hearts. Let's try another hand here, everyone. Here's another one set up. Okay, now let's look at this hand from the perspective of South, because South is the one that eventually uses Roman Keycard Blackwood. South opens one spade, not good enough for anything stronger than that. It's 19 points, but it has 4 losers, 1, 2, 3, 4, which means it doesn't quite get to the level of being good enough for a game force 2 club opening. So we start off with 1 spade. West passes and partner bids 3 hearts. Now, for those who do like to play Bergen raises, that promises 3 card support and around about 10 to 12 points. So 3 card support, 10 to 12, in losers terminology, that would be around about 8 losers, because it's 1 level higher than a simple 1 spade, 2 spade bid. So let's look at losers. You've got, how many did we say? 1, 2, 3, 4. Partner's got 8. 4 plus 8 is 12. Take it from the magical 24, and it looks like 12 tricks are a possibility. So on this particular hand, we're now going to use Roman Keycard Blackwood. And partner, in response, tells us they've got 2 key cards, but no trump queen. Okay. Now, we know partner has 3 card support only, so we have just a 9 card trump fit. How many key cards do we have? We've got 1 in spades, 1 in diamonds. Partner's got 2, that's 4 key cards total. But between you and partner, neither of you hold the queen of trumps. Therefore, with 4 key cards and no queen of trumps, don't risk slam, simply sign off at the 5 level. So we sign off in our trump suit at the 5 level. That becomes the final contract. Okay, so let's look at the play here. And partner leads the, the opponents lead the ace of hearts. Well, this looks like a pretty safe contract at the 5 level. I'm glad I'm not at the 6 level, because that would require trumps to be very friendly for us, either to break 2-2, or for us to find out if, magically someone has a singleton queen or jack and we finesse the right way. Not a good odds as far as slam goes. In fact, it's less than, it's about 40% slam. So we don't want to be in this slam. They take the ace of hearts at trick 1, and they take another heart. Okay, let's look at this hand in the perspective of what we call a teams match or an imps match. I'm going to say to you this much: over tricks don't matter when we're playing this hand at the moment. Obviously, a lot of you do play match point bridge where over tricks do matter. But I'm going to say propose this question to you: over tricks don't matter. How should you play this hand if over tricks don't matter? Well, the only thing that could possibly hurt you is that if one hand holds queen jack 4 times in the trump suit. So for example, if East holds 4 spades to the queen jack, then we're going to have to make sure that we don't play the ace of spades first. That would be a disaster. And then by the same token, if West holds 4 to the queen jack, we've got to make sure we don't play the king of spades first up. So this is what we have in mind. It's called a safety play. If we're happy to lose 1 trick in the suit, then as long as a player follows suit, then if you take a finesse on the first round of the suit, you can't go wrong. So let's lead the 5 of spades. When West plays the 2, now I'm going to play that West might hold all 4 cards, because that's the only thing I'm worried about, one player holding all 4 cards. If West had shown out, I would rise with the king and lead through East. So at this point in time, I'm going to say, okay, if I play the 8 and it loses to a singleton queen or a singleton jack, then that's okay, because the king and the ace can take care of the next 2. I'm going to guard against West holding all 4. I'm going to play the 8, and East shows out. Perfect. So now we play the king of spades and another spade to our ace and drop the jack. But from this point on, you can see that West is going to take the queen of trumps. Look what would have happened had you played a low spade to the king at trick 3. West would have eventually taken 2 tricks with the queen and the jack of spades. Everyone, that's what we call in bridge a safety play. We were playing safely against the possibility of the worst outcome. And for those people who do like to play in the odd teams event, some people like to go to the Gold Coast, a play like that would be a good play to find at the table. Let's try another hand. Okay. Again, let's look at this hand from South's perspective, everyone. Partner has opened the bidding with 1 heart, and you respond 1 spade. I might show you partner's hand and see what partner's worthy of as a rebid. Well, how many losers? You have a spade fit, so instantly you can think about losers. North holds 1 loser in spades. They're missing the ace and the queen of hearts, so there's 2 further losers there. 1 in diamonds, 1 in clubs, a total of 5 losers. A rebid of 2 spades would be consistent with 7 losers. A rebid of 3 spades would be 6 losers, and a rebid of 4 spades would be worthy of a 5 loser hand. So therefore this hand has 5 losers, which means it's worthy of a 4 spade bid. Well, back to partner's hand. If partner's showing 5 losers here, how many do I have? 2 in spades, 1 in hearts, 2 in diamonds, 1 in clubs. I've got 6 losers only. Well, 5 plus 6 is 11. Take that away from 24. And there's actually potential for 13 tricks on this hand. But first of all, obviously we need to check on key cards on this hand. So we bid 4 no trump, Roman Keycard Blackwood, and partner responds 5 clubs, which is 0 or 3. Well, for partner to have jumped to 4 spades, surely they must hold 3 key cards. Now that means that our partnership holds 3 key cards plus my 2 key cards. That's a total of 5 key cards. I think we might also find out now about the queen of trumps, being that a grand slam is a possibility if you hold all 5 key cards in the queen of trumps. So we make the next step, which is not the trump suit of 5 diamonds, saying, do you hold the trump queen partner? Partner doesn't bid 5 hearts, so that would be no, but bids the next step of 5 spades, which says, yes, I do hold the queen of trumps. Well, if partner's got the queen of trumps, that means we've got all 5 key cards. If partner also held the king of hearts, I think our hand can make a grand slam. So how about we find out if partner does hold the missing king? Now, when we bid 5 no trump, it asks partner about kings, but you do not include the king of the trump suit. Why? Because the king of the trump suit was already included as a key card. So this 5 no trump says any kings, and partner says 6 diamonds, which is 6 clubs would have been 0, 6 diamonds is 1. So that king must be the king of hearts, which means that you must have 13 tricks. How do we know that? Well, partner's got 4 spades and 5 hearts, so they hold a total of 4 cards in the minors. 2 aces, which means that the long diamond here, you must be able to trump it in partner's hand. So that means that a grand slam is almost a certainty on this hand. So we jump to 7 spades. Okay, the opening lead, 10 of diamonds. Well, dummy has exactly what you thought they would have. This hand looks pretty simple, so we're going to play through it quickly. We simply draw trumps and we trump our 3rd diamond in dummy. So let's play this. Ace of diamonds wins. Let's draw the trumps out. There's only 3 out there. 2 have gone. Let's draw the last one out. And let's simply play a low diamond to the king. Trump our 3rd diamond in dummy. And now we can claim all of the tricks because we've got ace king of clubs and ace king of hearts plus trumps. That was a very good hand to use for Roman Keycard Blackwood. And also you'll notice too that the losing trick count is a very handy little evaluation tool. Last hand here, everyone. And now we're going to show you how we go about looking at Minorwood. But I'm going to bring you the hand from the perspective of North. South opens with 1 heart, and you as North with your 8, 12, 17 points respond 1 spade. Partner's next bid is 2 clubs, showing 5 hearts and 4 clubs. And when I look at this hand, I think, well, slam's a very good chance on this hand, especially if partner's got 9 cards in hearts and clubs. So that's why I'm going to reserve the jump to 4 clubs here as Roman Keycard Blackwood. Why? Because we have agreed the minor suit as trumps. So rather than bid 4 no trump and get an embarrassing reply, I'm going to bid 4 clubs and hope the partner shows me sufficient key cards under the level of 5 clubs so that we don't bid slam if it's not on. So we bid 4 clubs, otherwise known as Minorwood, and partner responds 4 hearts. How many steps is that? Well, that's 2 steps. 4 diamonds would be 0. 4 hearts is 1. So 1 or 4, that's what they've done, 1 or 4 key cards. Well, how many key cards do you have? You've got 1 ace of hearts, 2 the ace of diamonds, and 3 the king of clubs. So you've got 3 key cards. Partner's got obviously 1. That's 4 key cards. And now you need to find out about the position of the queen of trumps. If you bid the next step that is not the trump suit, after partner has shown either 0 or 3 or 1 or 4, your next step would simply say, do you have the queen of trumps, partner? And partner's first step of 4 no trump would be no. If they did bid that, you would sign off in 5 clubs. But instead, they actually said, yes, I do have the queen of clubs. So now you know you've got 4 key cards plus the queen of trumps, enough to bid 6 clubs. So that's where we're landed, everyone, in 6 clubs. Let's try this hand on opening lead. Okay, 10 of diamonds lead. Very, very interesting hand. 10 of diamonds opening lead. Well, I could let that run around to the queen of diamonds if the opening leader has led away from the king of diamonds here. But do I have a better chance than that? Well, if I do play low and the king of diamonds ends up here, I'm down off the top because I'm missing the ace of trumps. But I may be able to win the ace of diamonds here. And you notice we've got the ace, king, queen of spades. If I win the ace of diamonds, I can then play the ace, king, queen of spades and throw away a diamond before touching trumps. I think I'm very suspicious of that 10 of diamonds lead. So I'm thinking that West most certainly doesn't hold the king. I'm going to play the ace of diamonds from dummy at trick 1. Well, East encouraged with the 2. So that sounded like East has the king of diamonds. And now I'm going to go about throwing away this queen of diamonds, because if I play a trump now, they'll just win and take the king of diamonds. So now I'm going to play the 4 of spades across to my ace, 7 of spades to the king, and the queen of spades, throwing away my losing queen of diamonds. And now, everyone, I can play trumps. There's 3 more trumps out, including the ace, so I keep playing them. Okay, just 1 trump left. East tries to catch the king of diamonds, but now we trump in. We draw our last trump. And now we can enjoy our lovely hearts. Ace, king, queen, jack of hearts. And then even though the last heart's a winner, we've still got a trump left in dummy. That's a good hand for Roman Keycard Blackwood. Everyone, you'll notice in the notes that I sent you that all of these 4 hands are in the notes. I hope you can print those out and have a look at them. I'm going to open up the microphones now because I'm sure there's a lot of questions about roaming Keycard Blackwood. So allow me just to stop the recording, say thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed that, but I'm going to open the microphones so that we can ask some questions.